Well, yesterday we had the first and possibly the only debate between Harris and Trump. And in short answer, I think Harris won. I have criticized her before for some of her positions or, the lack thereof interviews. But I think compared to Trump's performance, hers was preferable. I started the video off by playing the clip of him claiming that dogs and cats are being eaten by illegal immigrants, or I guess just immigrants in general, in Springfield, Ohio, and then the moderator mentioned that there are no credible reports of this, and Trump's like, I saw it on TV, and I thought to myself, the same person who pioneered the phrase fake news is like, well, trust me, this happened because I saw it on television, the same place where all the fake news apparently takes place. And yeah, I really did like Harris's reaction, where all she could do was just like smile and laugh because of how insane it sounded. Like you gotta understand, for Trump supporters, they're talking about, oh, I saw the videos too, and with a lot of the independents, however, they hear something like that, they're like, what the hell is he talking about? Which I do think that moment did not make him look good at all, um, and it's one of those things that's going to play a role in him not being able to get the vote of people that aren't affiliated with either party. Now, the next clip I played, because like I said, debates really don't move the needle that much. The Biden Trump debate, I think, was one of the most important ones ever because it directly led to the Democrats, who at one point were all enthusiastic about keeping this 80 something year old man around for another 4 years, to just be like, yeah, it's over, call it quits, hang up your hat. So this debate's other big moment for me was when they were talking about the Israeli Hamas conflict. And I have unfortunate news for anyone that is hoping or hoped that Harris would be more progressive on this than Biden. Her response is repeating the same old couple of lines. I support Israel having the right to defend itself. Palestinians should be able to live in dignity. I started to think for a second that she was like a robot, because I remember when I played the clip from her, I think it was that interview she did with CNN. She was like, women were horribly, and then, the word that starts with R. And I said, it's one thing to describe, like, hey, people are being, attacked, whatever, brutalized. But I noticed she uses that same expression, horribly, R word, and she actually has like several. So I never picked up on this before because people mostly just talk about the whole what can be unburdened by what was, that catchphrase line that she repeats over and over. But she has several other catchphrases, when she mentions, you'll reelect Trump and he'll have no guardrails, and just this is unconscionable. I was thinking about this person that said they wish that politicians actually talked like regular people. And the one thing Trump has over Harris is that he talks like a regular person, not a sane regular person, but he still can just speak in a way that's casual. Man, I sometimes when she talks, I feel like someone pulled a switch or a lever, and they just, because it's not even like politicians repeat the same stuff over and over, right? Bernie repeats all the time. For example, the whole billionaires owning everything and corporations buying out politicians, and just the various things that are true that he'll repeat. But he doesn't have specific like catchphrases the way that Harris does, where I'm just like watching this. I watched the debate twice, and I'm picking up on like, okay, I've heard her say this before, the guardrails thing, unconscionable. Oh man, I'm just saying that stuff like that detracts from her performance, because I really did not think she gave some great, amazing performance. It really is just how competent did she look compared to Trump. And at the start of I thought they were on pretty even ground. But when he started talking about the people in Ohio eating dogs and cats, of course with no evidence ever, then he brought up, you were not democratically elected by the Democratic voters, which we've already explained before. Most people didn't even vote in that damn primary, even though there was a primary. And if you voted, and the ones that did vote voted for Biden. So if he drops out and his running mate takes over, it's not really that big of a deal. Um, and one of the things I wish was talked about is that he mentioned, but the last debate with Biden, and they bring up this stuff with, and this is just like a side note, but a lot of conservative leaning people, and a few progressives as well, bring up like, oh, Harris was not elected to anything, and she was put in. It's like, guys, listen. The reality is that is a problem that the Democratic voters have to have for it to be something that matters. If the Republican voters, for example, voted for Trump and then he dropped out and Vance became the nominee, and then you see polls where 40, 50, 60% of the Republican voters are still planning on voting for the Republican ticket, then it clearly didn't matter that they didn't vote for Vance. It's just sad that they have this line because it's not getting them anywhere. Harris's support is more than Biden's was at the time that he dropped out. So replacing him has been, at least in as far as polling has been confirmed thus far, a good thing. Like I said, I think Harris is ultimately going to win this election. It's not a guarantee. This is like where I'm leaning right now, and I do feel really bad for anyone that supports the Palestinians or any other oppressed group, because I don't think whether Trump or Harris wins, you're going to get a change in policy. I think we are going to keep being an APAC loving, Israeli government bootlicking, um, supposed democracy until our final days as an institution. And it is really sad that you have these two parties that are supposedly so different from each other, but there's always coincidentally no way to vote against I don't even know what all you would call it, the usual apartheid state that the Israeli government has towards Palestinians, or the genocide that they now have towards anyone in Gaza. It's sad. It really is just another showing of how backwards everything is over here in terms of our government and the people that could feasibly be running it for the next 4 years.